Now that we have the official Zoom voice that tells us the meeting is being recorded, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our March 10th Citizens Academy here for today. And just clicking a couple of buttons to make sure it's all working. It looks like it is. So next month, just looking ahead to April, the town clerk is going to be joining us next month to talk about operations of the town clerk and kind of what's going on or what that entails and how you do different things and get permits and how you make reservations for the parks with the upcoming summer season and all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to that. But today I asked Sarah Reynolds from my office to join us to talk specifically, and feel free, as you know, we jump in here, ask any questions. We share this live on Facebook. We also record these, and they're usually what I would say lightly attended on the actual Zoom meeting, but what we're finding is they get a lot of views later on, and people go back and look at them when they have a chance or learn more stuff. But I wanted to take some time and talk to Sarah and have her talk to us about how it is that we communicate with the residents of the town of Canandaigua and where they can find stuff, and talk about the website and our Facebook and all that stuff. You know, we've had the last couple of months since November, we've been talking a lot about the proposed property acquisition, and we've had as many as 90 or over 100 people on those Zoom meetings. And sometimes we hear things like, well, I didn't know this or I didn't know that, but yet we're constantly trying to push that information out for the residents. So wanted to take some opportunity just to help talk about where we find stuff. So Sarah, I did make you co-host. If you want to share your screen, maybe the website, and we can just kind of start. Why don't you introduce yourself for people that don't know you, Sarah?
Sure. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. My name's Sarah Reynolds. I've been working for the town of Canandaigua for almost 6 years now. I've been working with Doug Finch for pretty much all of it. And over the years, I've started to kind of fall into a habit of helping spread the word. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can kind of show everybody how we do that, or how we attempt to do that as best as we can. So one of the ways we like to spread news and events and general information about what the town has been up to and what we're planning is our newsletter. So I've got our most recent newsletter up on my screen here. This is for March of this year. We typically send our newsletters out in the first week of the month, between the 1st and the 5th usually. And our newsletters are very full typically. We have lots of departments in the town that sometimes take turns sharing information. We also have a lot of volunteer groups who work on lots of different projects for the town. And sometimes they like to share articles too. So for example, for this last issue, on our very first section of the newsletter, I typically always like to share a little table of contents to give people an idea of what they could find in the current issue. We typically have an article, or we have information about holidays. We have ways that you can contact people at the town hall, either generally or specifically. We have some of our key people here, including our town board members, our town manager, code enforcement, etc. And these are all live links. If you click on them, you can open up an email and send them a note or ask a question. We have information about dates. Our town manager typically has an article.
Hey, everybody, don't forget to change your clock this Saturday night, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes if we don't have official holidays, there's just reminders about what's coming up. I won't go through the entire newsletter, but just to scroll down to give you an idea, we have an article on the history of the Christ the Redeemer statue down on County Road 16. We have articles from our Parks Committee about programs you can participate in. For example, the bench sponsorship program. Did you know that you can sponsor a bench at one of our parks? You get a nice plaque in honor of somebody and a lovely place to sit at the town parks. So this is just some examples of what we might find in our month-to-month newsletters. If you don't already get these, we have a spot on our website where you can sign up to get them. This is the homepage of the town's website. At the bottom of the homepage, and I think almost every other page on our website, is an orange bar that says, "Be informed. Click here to receive town news, information, and updates via email." And if you click on it, it opens up a page where you can enter your name and email address, and you hit subscribe at the bottom, and then you'll start receiving emails from the town, including the newsletter. Other emails that we also send might be if there's a road closure due to road construction or an emergency situation. We had a water main break last month, and we sent out an email out to everybody who's on the list to let people know. We also send information about upcoming town board meetings and other events like that. So signing up for town emails is probably one of the best ways to receive information without having to go looking for it when the town has information that we want to share.
Hey, Sarah, let's just touch on that for a second. So during the last couple of months, like I said, we've been interacting with a lot of people from the community that are saying that they don't necessarily get our information, or that they haven't in the past received, or they didn't even know about the newsletter. We did, I think it was, Sarah, wasn't it 2 years ago, we sent out a mailing to every single household in the town of Canandaigua saying, hey, this is very expensive for us to do this. This costs almost $5,000 to do this.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do this. Instead, sign up for electronic communication, because it's a lot cheaper for us to be able to communicate, and for us to communicate more efficiently and faster with you. So we did do that. I know, and from time to time, I think we put stuff in the water bills and that sort of stuff, hey, as a reminder. But I don't know how else to help people understand this. They need to sign up for these if they want to continue to receive information from us.
Yeah, right. When we sent the paper copy of the newsletter, it was 4 pages, I think 4 pages long, folded. And yeah, it was quite expensive and limited into how much we could fit in it. And yeah, our electronic newsletter is definitely easier to send out. We also when our newsletters go out, we also share it on our town's Facebook page too, which I also have up. You can see that it shows that we're doing a live feed of this video right now, but we also have we share events, and when the newsletter is ready again, we post a link to go read it on here on the Facebook page. That also reminds me, the website also has a section for newsletters. So where we keep all of our old newsletters and our current ones, although now my internet's not going to let me do it.
I can share mine if you want me to.
All right. But I'll just keep talking if you want to. I'll stop sharing and I'll let you bring it up.
Sure.
So on the town's website, across the top, there's different headings, and one of them is the About heading, and it has a drop down, and you can click on that, and there's all kinds of information, including a tab for newsletters where the old ones are. We also have a tab for news, which is another spot where we announce that our newsletters are ready. Many of the same things we send out to our email list also get posted here on the news section of the website. So you can see that we posted information about the last town board meeting and other events and information too. So if you'll notice, we tend to repeat in multiple places the information we want to share, because we're trying to reach as many people as possible. Because we're not sure where people want to go to for their news. They might check Facebook every day, or their email, or like to browse around on the website. So we try to share it in all those places to find the most people and share it as widely as possible.
Hey, Sarah, let me just pause here for a quick second while you have the About, since you were talking the About tab here on the website. I know there's links for the news, the newsletter, a variety of other things, including I know we had our former planning board chair at one point when we got our phone system that had us all having extensions. He had said, "How do I figure out or find out your phone numbers or your email addresses and those sorts of things?" So there is a directory page
Mhm.
also here on the website under that about section where you can get the extension numbers, the email addresses to contact anyone, I believe.
Yeah, there's a wealth of information on the website.
And then there's also just even information about the history of the town or information for new residents that they might want to be aware of and how they do things like sign up for town emails so that they can stay informed. So that's all under this about section here. Even including Sarah, you do a lot of work with me on RFPs, requests for proposals and bids. You just want to touch on some of that too?
Sure. So our bids and proposals page on the website is where we put opportunities for contracts with the town. For example, right now we have an open one for roofing projects down at Aranda Park. So whenever we release an opportunity like that, we call it a request for proposals or a request for quotes. Sometimes it's referred to as a bid. So we've labeled it different ways because some people search for it differently. But we always put that information here, and we sometimes share that on our email list and occasionally on Facebook as well. And so that's opportunities for local business owners to come and provide services for us. Other services might be a planning study or purchasing equipment or something like that. But we always put that information on the website as well.
And then even different employment opportunities coming up with the town of Canandaigua, and then just generally community links too. Just how you help, you know, how do you get to or connect with other entities in the greater Canandaigua area? So,
Yeah, this is a great page. We have nonprofit organizations, like, for example, Cornell Cooperative Extension or the Historical Society, as well as other governments. Like if you want to know, how to find the City of Canandaigua's webpage, we have that kind of stuff on here too. Should we talk about our videos?
sure.
Yeah, so as everyone on the call knows, this is being recorded, and Doug mentioned a lot of people like to come back and watch that later. One of the ways we like to do that is on our town's YouTube channel. At the top of this page, there's a link to get there. And we've had the channel a couple years now, but it's gotten way more use this past year, of course, because of the pandemic and almost all of our meetings going completely virtual. So every meeting that was recorded is available to view on the YouTube channel. And there's a list of playlists, which are categorized by the group. So maybe it's the town board or the history team or the agricultural committee. All the videos from each of those groups are in those playlists. If you also just look at the videos tab, that's just all of our videos listed. So you can go back and watch something if you weren't able to attend, or if you forgot something that someone said and you wanted to go back and check, or didn't want to read the minutes. This is a great way to go back. You can view it in your own time, skip ahead, go back. But I'm not sure everybody's aware of it, but it's a great way to take a look at the meetings, since we tend to have a lot, and that doesn't always work with everyone's schedule. So it's been a great resource internally too for us to go back and watch. So those are always available for anyone. And if you don't need an account, you can just go to YouTube and search Town of Canandaigua, and it'll bring us up.
One of the things that I discovered, I think it was maybe back around Christmas time, a lot of smart TVs now have YouTube, an app on the smart TV, and you can pull up YouTube. So, you could actually sit in the comfort of your living room, family room, your favorite chair with maybe your favorite beverage, and you can rewatch either a town board meeting or a planning board, or you can, it's all available. It's right there, Terry. I know that you just love doing that. So
Doug, I'm not an insomniac, so yeah. Some of the meetings could put people to sleep, but some of the more recent ones are a little more lively.
Mhm. Yeah. Sarah, where do you want to, and Sarah, thank you so much for doing this because this is a huge help. Where do you want to go next here? So,
Oh, I'm trying to think if there's any other things,
maybe,
sometimes, oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, why don't you just touch base on the home page here and talk a little bit about that in and of itself too.
Sure. Sometimes people say our website just has so much information that it's hard to find things. And it's true, there's a lot on there. We just have a lot of different departments. We have a lot of different projects, a lot of different things we do, lots of services that we offer the residents. And sometimes if it's hard to find, we have a great little search bar up in the corner. And sometimes when I can't remember where something is, yes, sometimes I forget to, I just search for it. And it'll show you anywhere on the website where that phrase is mentioned. And it'll show you the different categories. So you can see on the left, it lists different pages on the website that mention Middle Cheshire Road, which is the phrase that Doug just searched for. In the center, sorry, it lists all the news posts we had that mentioned that. So it's a really powerful search tool on the website, and it'll help you find just about anything. So this is our page about a recent project that we've been working on. It's called the Middle Cheshire Road Hospital Corridor Active Transportation Plan, very long, that looked at the whole length of Middle Cheshire Road, which runs parallel to County Road 16 and the lake, from Wells Curtis Road all the way up to and into the city of Canandaigua. And this study focused on looking at ways we could improve safety along Middle Cheshire Road for not just users who are in a vehicle, but more importantly for people on foot or on a bike or maybe pushing a stroller. So this was a really neat study, which links me to other projects on the town. We have, Doug, would you mind clicking the projects page? Yeah, this is a great way to find out what specific projects the town's currently working on. So you can see it's 3 columns. On the left are different things we're working on now, including the project we just looked at on Middle Cheshire Road, but other things as well, like our new water tanks, the discussion about the lakefront land acquisition that's been going on recently. We also have our comprehensive plan update that's happening now. So all those kinds of things we're working on are listed on here, so you can look for that. The website also is a great place just to learn about general departments within the town. Under the government tab, it lists all the typical departments like the town clerk, the assessor, waste and recycling, but also all of our officials. So there's a link over on the left for the town board that talks about all of our members of the town board. If you're ever curious, who are your representatives in the town, this page can tell you that. And there's links that you can use to email them and ask questions or just to learn what does the town board do. The blue words across the top are all live links that will take you to different information having to do with the town board. So
yeah, so I mean, a lot of times, I'll be in a hurry, I'll be trying to grab something, and maybe I'll want to even see the agenda, right? So I'll just quick jump into one of these pages where I know I can go and get it. And then you see a lot of times, and it's personal preference and however you search. A lot of times what I do is I search by or look at something by opening the link in a new tab, but it's personal preference, whichever you want to do. That way I can pop this up, and then I was like, no, I don't want that. I can go back to the other, but it's whatever everybody's personal preference is. Or you can just click directly on it and it would take you there. So.
Yeah, so that's another thing too, is we try to have multiple different paths to get people to what they're looking for. So from the town board page, you can view agendas, but you can also view that from the home page because we know it's something that people look for often. So there's a plethora of information, for lack of a better word, just lots of information on the website. covering about everything that we do.
Even, I know that just recently I was asked a question about town board meetings, for instance, and how they operate. So even the rules of procedure that actually, this obviously this link we need to update because this was updated in 2020 and or 2021. That does happen sometimes where we discover pages that we've got to go back and update, and Sarah helps coordinate all that among many, many, many other hats that Sarah wears for us. But the rules of procedure tell you everything in terms of how a town board meeting is run, what's going to happen, the call to order, the roll call. You hear that actually during the town board meeting, the privilege of the floor. Then you hear about, the presentations, public hearings. That every single one of our meetings, including the informational session that we just did the other night, follows this rules of procedure that's been established and adopted by the town board, as well as all the policies and procedures that the town board has adopted. You can see every single one of those is right here. It's available for anybody to view. If you're curious how the budget gets developed, well, here's the budget development policy, and that tells you the policy as the budget officer that I follow. But that is all spelled out right here. Those are all policies that have been adopted by the town board for us to follow. So. Sarah, let me jump back over to you here. Is there, where else do you want to go here?
Oh, we could spend a lot of time walking through all the pages on the website.
Maybe,
the others.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, maybe let's touch on services too, because we have.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The other side of government is services. So we have another page that tries to list the different, tangible services that people might want. For example, on the left, permits and licenses. Our town clerk's office handles just about all of our permits and licenses, along with our development office, which handles things like building permits. Links to information about those are on this page on the left. How do I get a marriage license? What do I need to do if I need a dog license? We also have, right, yeah, so there's an actual page for it. It's not just going to open up a license application, but there's a lot of information about how to get a dog license or who to call if you have a question on how to do that. Similarly, on the services page, there's other links. So in the center, if you wanted to make a reservation for a facility at one of our parks, for example, a cabin at Ononda or a pavilion, we have links for that too.
And, let's just spend a minute on here, if we could. One of the things when we that we really have spent some time on, especially as it relates to parks and recreation, is looking for opportunities to make it as easy as possible for people to rent or use our facilities, and for them to receive as much information as we could possibly share with them about those facilities. So let's say that, and there's a variety of different ways, as Sarah mentioned, there are repetitive things throughout the website on where you can find stuff or how you can go about it. But let's say I'm looking at this page and I really want to go to Ananda for a weekend. I'm like, well, this one has a deck on it. That looks like that would be fun. So if I click on that, I can see, and actually I think I can even blow this up, right? Yeah, so I can blow this up and look at larger photos. And this is obviously Hayawentha. And then I can actually go through and I can actually see the inside of it also. So we actually had a intern, a couple of years ago now, Sarah, that went through and took all the photos for us so that we could put all these on the website. But you could really get an idea of what it's like to rent that cabin and what would be available. Description, kind of how to go about it, capacity 6 people. And then you can even get in here, once you start to drill into some of this information, there's even a lot more information in terms of maps, the cost, and actually we're in the process of updating our reservation system right now. We're switching to a new reservation system that I think is going to be much more user friendly, and there'll be direct links from this where you'll be able to go ahead and rent. We had to take the previous link off because we've just switched over to a new system, but that'll be coming back onto all these pages very soon. And the other thing that I love about the new system is you'll be able to also, if you use apps like Airbnb or VBRO, those types of apps, you'll actually see that, oh, there's availability this weekend right from the Airbnb app, for instance, of Hayawintha, if it's available, and if you want to go ahead and rent it. So I think it's going to be much more user-friendly in a variety of ways to get to the same information.
Yeah, this might be a good segue too for people to look at the parks in general. I noticed at the bottom we still have the link for Town Park Directory, which you can get to from other pages on the website too. But this is a great overview of all the town parks. We have 8 town parks, I believe. And from this page, you can click on any one of them. And similarly to the page that shows you the cabins, it'll show you lots of pictures for that town park, and a little description below, and also a map to show you how to get there. So yeah, I'm not sure everybody knows that we have 8 parks, but they're all different and they offer something different. This is Miller Park, one of our newer, more recently established parks, which has become pretty popular for bird watching and just taking a walk. It's wide open, it has great views, and it's one of the only parks we have that has a lot of interpretive signage. This park has signs to teach you about wildlife, birds, trees, plants, all the sorts of things that you might notice when you're walking around the park. So there's, that information is available for all the town parks from this page. There's just so much information. I'm not sure what else to share.
Right. It is. There's a ton of information. I see there's some photo things that we've got to update here. And, like with any, like with any website, with any social media or any type of communication, it's constantly updating. And, we do not have a full-time communications director, do we, Sarah? So.
Oh, we all pitch in.
With Sarah doing a majority of that. And so, things will be updated accordingly. I did, while we're talking about parks, let me jump back here to services. I'm going to put a pitch in for summer recreation. Let's see if this is the right, oh, that's the former. So
yeah, not yet, I don't think.
Okay, so you know what? I'm going to type in here recreation because I'm looking for that page. And let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Recreation department, maybe. Let's try that. Yep. Okay. So we even have on the town board agenda for this coming meeting. The agenda will be coming out in a little while, right, Sarah? Sarah is also working very hard this morning. We're putting together the agenda.
It's complete. It just needs to be sent.
Okay. We're launching a joint program this year with the city of Canandaigua and the town of Canandaigua, and we've always had a joint program, but this is taking the joint program to an even bigger step, where we're actually going to be, when you go to, previously, let me pause for a second. Previously, the city of Canandaigua operated a joint program on behalf of the town and city. What's called a day camp program. And those programs were held at the elementary school, at Sonnenberg, at Ononda. And for a variety of different reasons, the town of Canandaigua additionally was also operating a separate day camp program at Ononda. So it was almost like we had 2 separate entities operating different programs. And then the town of Canandaigua also operated a day camp program separately at Outhouse. New this year, we're trying something where we're completely joining the forces and operating a single community recreation program, excuse me, for the city and town without the town doing anything separate, and really kind of revising that program so that we'll be using Sonnenberg, we'll be using Baker Park, we'll be using Outhouse Park, Ononda, and Butler Road Schoolhouse. And one of the reasons that we're using Butler Road Schoolhouse this year is that will be actually what's previously being referred to as the kiddie camp for the youngest children. And that was previously done over at the elementary school. by the city of Canandaigua for theirs, and then we operated a separate one at the Butler Road Schoolhouse Beach Park. So the kiddie camp will run this year at Butler, but this the brand new hot off the press recreation guide, I just even uploaded an update to it this morning. It's all here. You completely contact Heather. Heather is going to be heading this up for us for both communities, the city and the town. There's no residency requirements associated. City and town residents pay the same fees for the use, but all of the information is here in this recreation guide. And actually, Mike, I think I even saw you had posted on one of the Facebook pages or something about this fills up fast. And it does. It sells out. So all of the information is here for all the programs, everything from the dog campus to, some changes this year, excuse me, that's all spelled out. And even other community events that will be coming up later this year. Here's an event, March the 12th. What is that? A couple of days here. You've got Lego robotics, how much you ever want to know about Legos. And just a ton of information. When you talk about, there's a lot of information on the website, but then when you start drilling into some of this stuff, there's even more information. And I know I've gotten quite a few messages over the last couple of days about people wanting to sign up and register for the recreation programs, and just super excited that this is coming back, and that all the information is here. And Heather has really done a great job in putting this all together. And here's the actual registration form. It's super simple this year to register. You can do it either directly through the website, or you can do it by contacting Heather, and she can help you walk through that. So a lot of information there. So.
Hey, Doug, I looked through that yesterday. It wasn't clear to me. Do people have an option of directing their kids to programs that are being held in the city or in the town? Or is it just first come, first serve? You wind up wherever you wind up.
Well, it really depends on which program it is that you're going to, because the various programs have different, and Sarah, help me out, because I know your kids have.
Yeah, so for the day camp, for example, which is what's up on the screen right now, it is first come, first serve, but you do have a choice. And my children have participated in this for years. One has already aged out. So you circle your preferred park, and you circle which weeks you want them to attend, whether all of them or one of them, and you fill it out. And, Heather at the city has always been good. She'll let you know if, that park is already booked for the week you're interested in, and, maybe another park is still open. So there's a lot of choice options there.
And that also depends on, the maximum number of children that they could have at any one location based on, the Department of Health regulations and the staffing that we have, and a whole variety of different things. So.
Right. And these summer recreation programs are really great. I mean, again, I'm putting in a plug because my children have participated for years, but they love it. It's when they can, they do field trips to places like the museum in Rochester and other stuff. They give the kids a chance to go swimming. I think in the past, every once a week, the kids from the parks that didn't have access to water would get a chance to go to, for example, Ononda once a week and swim, or Kershaw Park and go swimming. So they do crafts, they do activities, they keep them busy. These programs are really great.
Yeah, I know my local grandson participated, well, not last year, obviously, but a couple of years prior to that. And he just absolutely loved it. It was just fantastic.
Yeah.
He's looking forward to this year too.
Yeah. And there's programs for adults too, as there's pickleball tournaments. There in the past have been programs for, learning new activities, and I see we have the library up. They have different events during the summer at the library too. Sometimes there's story time for kids and stuff like that. So it's just, it's a big brochure with lots of information.
Yeah. Very well done.
The, I put a plug in for Ananda, that's obviously one of our flagships. I mean, we're so fortunate. We have so many awesome parks in the town of Canandaigua, but Ananda specifically, this program, they operate a lot of times out of our arts and crafts building is what we call it, which is the building as you enter the parking lot over on the right-hand side. And they have, I mean, literally, it's a large building that has tons of different things in terms of like arts and crafts and little things that the people that are participating, the children that are participating can do. They do all kind of organized activities. Plus, they also obviously have the large grassy area that we have there at Ononda where they can get outside and play a little bit. Playground there. We've got the beach area, and then new this year we've got the game room in the center that we're just finishing up right now. So I know that there's already, I've had people reaching out to me. There's a lot of interest in specifically being at Ononda, and part of that, I would not be surprised if that fills up and sells out very, very fastly. So okay, we've touched on that. Sarah, we've touched on, I think a lot of the main pages of the website. I mean, there's just a ton of information on the website, right? Even from the homepage here, these little drop-down links. How do I want to view adopted local law or a proposed local law. I can click on these links and it takes me right there, or the town budget if I want to, or the comprehensive plan, policies and procedures, or how do I find a form or a permit if I want to apply for whatever. Maybe I want additional information and I want to apply for a Freedom of Information Act or law request. That's all there. I want to file a grievance with the assessor. Getting license information, that's even there, or even additional information about what's recyclable or the hours of the transfer station. A lot of information on the website, and we're constantly updating it. I mean, there's any one of these links takes you to a page that may have additional links and a lot more information. There's just a ton of information on the town of Canandaigua's website when you really start drilling into that. Sarah, you touched on the MailChimp. Should we touch on Facebook a little bit more? Is there?
Sure.
Do you want me here? I'll pull mine up and then I will jump over here to the Town of Canandaigua Facebook page. And while that's loading there for a second, so the other thing that we have, in addition to the Town of Canandaigua's Facebook page, we're very fortunate. So many people love Ononda Park and Outhouse Park that they had checked in so many times that Facebook actually created, not the Town of Canandaigua, Facebook pages for Ononda Park and Outhouse Park. And so we were actually able to work with Facebook, and we now have control of those pages. And so we posted information specific to those two parks there also. And the thing about that we find is it's different. It's a different group of people who follow that, because they may not be interested in everything that's going on in the town of Canandaigua. They may just be interested in, hey, what's happening at Outhouse Park or what's happening at Ononda Park. And we're actually, I just began the process about 2 weeks ago of working with Facebook again. Miller Park, Sarah mentioned, it's a birding hotspot, and it's becoming quite its own destination. Again, so many people have checked into Miller Park now that Facebook has created its own page for that now too. So interestingly enough, so we'll be working to get that one. But here, Sarah, I'll let you walk through the town's Facebook page here.
Yeah, so, like we said earlier, when we have information to share, in addition to the newsletter and the website, we also like to put information on the town's Facebook page, whether it's a reminder that we have this event today, the Citizens Academy, or, when we have something important we want to share, we'll put it on our Facebook page. Another thing that we like to do is that we'll take a post that we put on the town's page and share it to some of the other community pages that are in existence. Like, for example, the local Canandaigua Chronicles, I think is what it's called, page. We know that a lot of our residents check that page from time to time. So like if we have the newsletter out, for example, we'll share that on those pages too, to try and reach more people who may not have seen it on the town's page. But like other Facebook pages, our town's page has events too. So for example, today's meeting, this one was listed as a town event, and so are the subsequent meetings for the next, for the other months. So we like to put as much information out here as possible, and share it and make it easy for people to find. You know, a lot of the information on our Facebook page mirrors what you would find on our website, you know, and that's done purposefully. We want to put everything out there, make it so people can find it, and they can find it in their own way. So.
Yeah. You know, there's I see there's a comment here. Julie, thank you for watching through Facebook Live and join us. There's a comment here about, I think this is reference to when we were talking about the newsletter, and instead of mailing it out, we actually provide it electronically. And there's a comment about people can't afford internet. And thank you for your comment, Julie. One of the other things I think it's important that, you know, I'd like people to understand and know is there are places in the community where you can get free Wi-Fi to connect to the internet if you have a computer. The Wood Library certainly provides those types of services, but we also have Wi-Fi available at Outhouse Park in the town of Canandaigua. So bring your computer, come on over to Outhouse Park. Wi-Fi is there. It's something, at this point, we do not have that option in Ononda Park. It's something that I'm working on right now. There's a variety of reasons. It's some of the things that we talked about, the upgrades in our system, reservation systems. I'm trying to look at some options to get better internet at Ononda currently, first for the operations of the town, but secondarily, hopefully we'll be able to also provide some Wi-Fi service there for the visitors to the community. But Outhouse Park has it today. You can go over to building 100 there. The lodge is the main building there. You could, if you'd like, you could sit in your car if it's too cold. You can sit in your car right there and you should be able to pick up the Wi-Fi with no problem. Or there's overhangs, there's outdoor seating areas right around building 100 there where you can also use the Wi-Fi there also. So great, great question. Thanks for asking that, chiming in on that. So, Sarah, anything else we want to touch on Facebook? I guess most people, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I think that covers it. You know, when, you know, we basically post everything on here. You know, when the town has a job opening, we'll post that on Facebook too, in addition to the website. And we list those things in the newsletters too. So mostly it's repetitive by design. You know, we share it wherever wherever we have availability to share it. So.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of information there. Giving me an update there. I switched over to the Ononda Park Facebook page here. You know, one of the things that I personally really love about our Facebook pages, like for instance, Ononda Park, is the people checking in and posting photos or sharing photos with us of them using our parks. And so this is a family here that was using Ononda Park back on February 17th, and we were able to share their photo. They had checked in and share that. And, you know, there's a lot of that, you know, just people enjoying the park, which is what it's there for. And it's awesome. And we love to see that, people just having a good time. I don't know if I could find for you real quick. There's history, there's a variety of different things. There was a video that one family shared last year that I laugh every single time I see the video. Let's just seeing if I can find it real quick here, where they were just having a great day. Oh, I think I'm getting close to it. I think they were just having a great day down at Ononda, having a great time. It was this family here, and actually I reached out to them because I actually even used some of their photos in the budget, but they gave us permission to use those. But they just had a great day at the park. There was a video. I don't know. Is it? I guess I'm not going to be able to find it, but I don't know if it's under videos. Let me just look real quick. Where the gentleman that you saw in that one No, I'm not going to be able to find it real quick. The gentleman that I showed you in that one photo that I had clicked on, um, he was actually sliding down the rocks and just hands up in the air, just having a great time. I wish I could find that for you real quick. It was very, very funny.
That's
But
It touches on a good point, though, that communication is a two-way street.
mhm.
We share a lot of information, but residents share things with us too, which makes it really fun.
It does. It definitely does. And it's awesome to be able to communicate with people and just, see them enjoying the parks, having a great time. Feel free, check in when you're at our parks, when you're at Ononda. That's why I'm over at the Town of Canandaigua page. See, sometimes I get lost too, there's Facebook here.
While you're opening that, I thought of something too, is, we've talked about all the different ways people can go and look for information and find it and search for it. But, everybody knows this, but it's a good reminder. If you don't know where something is, or you don't want to spend time searching for it, we still daily, use our most basic original forms of communication. You can always pick up the phone and call town hall. You can email us. We have a general email address that's checked all the time, day in and day out, info@townofcanandaigua.org, or our phone number, 394-1120. You can just pick up and call or send us a note with your question. How do I find this? Where do I look to find that? And everyone here at Town Hall is always happy to answer those questions. So it's not just searching for information, but we're always available to answer questions too.
This is the gentleman, of course, I don't want to go to his personal Facebook page, but that was the gentleman that had posted that video and just having a good time. But yeah, so it's awesome to see people using the parks and just having a great time, and that's what they're there for. It's definitely what they're there for. So Terry, Mike, you have any questions, anything that any comments, questions? Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Yeah, so I wanted to comment on a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to say that no branch of government that I'm aware of does a better job of sharing information than the town of Canandaigua. And this has been true for a long time. I know since Pam Helming was there. You talk about transparency. The town of Canandaigua is one of the most transparent branches of government I've ever seen. Now, in terms of your parks, I think you are in the process of expanding one of the parks. Is that correct?
Which help me out a little bit more, Mike. Or do you mean?
Okay. So I think there's work on a park that is totally accessible for handicap.
Oh, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the inclusive playground. Yes, at Outhouse Park West. So that would be at Outhouse Park on the west side. And we're working with a great group of volunteers and community members that have been raising money. Inclusion in Motion, Think Big Inclusion in Motion, and just a fantastic, a lot of groups have jumped on board in supportive of that. And yes, that is moving forward. From what I understand, that will be, when that is completed, the largest fully inclusive playground in all of upstate New York.
Yeah, and that's great, but I didn't see any information on that project, like under projects in the town's website.
Great point, Mike. I know we share a lot of stuff on that on Facebook, but we could certainly link some of that stuff to the website. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good idea.
It's a good point, because we just recently, MRB, our engineering consultants that do all of our civil engineering work, have come up with a more acceptable drainage and parking site plan. So there is information, quite a bit of information available that could be posted there, actually. So it's a good point.
It's a fantastic point, and there's so much really great information that we should be sharing about that. We're even working with a group, and the University of Buffalo is involved with that in the design standards for that. There's a lot of information that we can share about that that's not there. So thank you, Mike. That's a fantastic point.
Okay. Another point I'd like to bring up is if you search like Bristol 4-H camp, and I realize that's not really part of the town of Canandaigua, but there is some historical information on the town's website there that was dated from the time Pam was the supervisor. So you need to make sure that as you're putting information, you're also removing old information so people aren't misguided. There were dates there about when they were going to have open houses and things of that nature. And somebody might show up at the park and nobody be there, kind of thing.
Yeah, sometimes the old news posts come up when people search, like on Google, for example. They're archived, but they still show up in a search, I think.
Yeah.
Shows we've been busy for a long time.
Well, and Sarah, you do a great job, I have to say. I mean, I've never had a hard time finding out about what's going on in the town of Canandaigua, mostly because of all the information that you get out to the public.
Oh, well, thank you. I just share it. I don't make it all up. It's
No,
a
I
big
realize
team.
it.
It's a team effort, but thank you. Yeah, we try hard to share information far and wide. And we're always have open ears for new ideas on how to share something, or like you pointed out, something that we might have missed. And I actually already have a note to add that to the website today about the inclusive playground.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out two differences between the town of Canandaigua and the city of Canandaigua. The town of Canandaigua, with their calendar, it looks like they do all the meetings on your calendar, where the city of Canandaigua does some of their meetings, but other meetings they don't post on their calendar. And I like the way you do it. It's a lot easier to find out when and where and what time meetings are, things of that nature. The city of Canandaigua, though, if you had a project like Titchener Point land acquisition, something like that, they would have put that on their front page. And you don't put those types of things on your front page, which is probably why people say, oh, it's too hard to find things. Because when you have major topics like that, and you go to the city of Canandaigua, they're going to have it right there. If you go to town of Canandaigua, you're going to have to drill down a layer or two to try to find that type of stuff. So that's another observation. I don't know if it's something you'd want to change or not. So.
No, that's a great point, Mike. And we've talked about that many different times. The challenge that you have is the homepage, right, is limited, that there's only so many things that you can put on it. And
right.
Not everyone that comes to the town website is looking for that. They might be looking for a permit, or they might be looking for a variety of other things. So that's why we try to build in these links, and then even a lot of the town news information. But you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. It's not listed specifically on the front page, but I believe if you type in Titchener Point, which I think I've done here,
it does come up.
It does come up.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But great point. Yep.
Yeah, some of that is a website design too,
Yeah.
Different websites are designed different way. Our news doesn't populate on our homepage, but that's something to consider too.
Yeah. Great points. Any other suggestions or comments, Mike? This is all good. Good feedback.
So you have I can't even pronounce McJanet Park.
Yes.
Yeah, I've actually visited that one, but didn't know that was the name of it. So that was something new I learned today.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. McJanet Park. And there's a sign there at McJanet Park that talks about the history and how that became a park, and the information there. I know that last year we actually replaced some picnic tables and had to do a little bit of maintenance work there and everything, but it's a neat little overlook, a great place to grab some lunch and sit down there at a picnic table on a nice day and just enjoy it. Be outside and get some fresh air.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, I think that's any other comments or questions. We'll kind of wrap up. No. Sarah, thank you for taking the time. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Terry.
I was just going to ask, the agenda is supposed to come out around noontime. To pick up my hard copy, should I drive my truck, or is the car sufficient?
You might want to bring your truck for this one.
Okay. All right.
Sarah, any idea how many pages with the attachments? It's going to be huge this month.
It's well over 500 pages.
Whoa, I'll bring the truck.
But yes, there's a lot on this agenda. A lot of things going on. So
I read through the draft, and yeah, there is a lot.
there's a lot there. So yeah. So
I think we should probably provide coffee for everybody, just to keep them awake, or maybe some no-dos or something.
that's the great thing about doing the meeting by Zoom, right? Everybody can be at home and just they don't have to drive anywhere after. So. Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. And then next month again, we'll have Jean Chrisman, our town clerk, but share information going on about the clerk's office and kind of some of the things that we saw there today, but talking a little bit more detail about that. So Sarah, thank you again for taking the time, especially as we have a very busy morning here getting that agenda out.
Of course. And that's a good time to remind everyone that these meetings are monthly. They're on the second Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. And again, like we mentioned earlier, if you can't join us now, you can come back and watch it later.
Yep.
It's very enjoyable. Mike touched on something earlier there. He said, that the town transparency level really took a big change back in when Pam was supervisor. But the people that have really increased the transparency and really increased the level of communications and information available are Doug and Sarah. I mean, I give them all the credit in the world for this, because you look at that, when that page pops up for our website and you see that page, that does not in any way give you a feeling for the depth and the breadth of information that's available to anybody. I mean, it's incredible, the volume of information that is there. It's just every facet of town government is everything we know about it's there. There could be a little bit added here and there, as we pointed out, but that happens as we go forward. And I think it's a fantastic job that you guys do.
Thank you.
We'll
try.
And it's always, as you said, it's always one of those things where we can constantly make improvements. We can constantly learn. Mike, I'm glad you said something about the playground, because yeah, I don't know why it slipped mine. We definitely have to put that on there. So thank you.
Yep, always evolving and improving. At least that's our goal.
Exactly. Give you something to do this afternoon, Sarah.
All right. Thank you, everybody. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.